Okay, so video for the Unique Melody Multiverse. It is a 12+1, 12 balanced armature, 1 bone conduction driver. It's very expensive. If you're interested in potentially possibly winning this, you would comment below this video. You got to be a subscriber, and a thumb up would be great. The interaction is always positive for the channel. This is a 12+1. It's got 12 balanced armatures and a bone conduction driver that you can just very subtly see behind the shell, which looks like a universe, the multiverse. It's a beautiful, beautiful shell. You can't get it until you look up close. I couldn't even notice that there was a driver below there, but once I took a picture I could see it. Looks very nice. I busted out a bunch of sets, including the Indigo, Mess Mark II, the Bird, the Storm, the Grand Maestro, a lot of my high-end stuff, because this is really a good set. I would say it's probably the best that Unique Melody's ever released. It would be maybe my #1 set, except for one thing, and I'll bring that up. But otherwise, if you're in the arena for things that are very expensive because you can afford that, this is obviously something you're probably already aware of. I'm giving my opinion now. I think this is a really, really good set, and again, my favorite Unique Melody set. The tuning of this set, let me go ahead and let me turn this down first of all. Okay, let me turn this over. I got the Unique Melody Multiverse. I gotta fix that a little bit because the bass came out a little weird. It should follow the same trajectory, basically from 50 Hertz and then do a roll like the other two. But everything beyond that is okay. The Subtonic Storm, the Grand Maestro Black with the switch on. You can see that these all have, they're not very different. They're doing treble different, but they have the upper mids, the ear gain region is quite similar. The Storm and the Maestro Black 2 have a little bit more bass, and it's kind of shows in the replay. This is different from a lot of Unique Melody sets like the Indigo and like the Mess Mark II and the original one. This has a very typical ear gain region, and how that plays out when I listen to all of my sets, particularly other Unique Melodies, I thought that this did better than other sets with stuff with a lot of vocals. To be specific, stuff like Fleetwood Mac Rumors with 2 male and 2 female singers, I thought popped out in a way that was much more natural. Before I skip it, Dire Straits, Sultans of Swing, bass guitar sounded fine. This has not great powerful bass, but for a library with a typical rhythm section like bass guitar, 4 or 5 string, drum kit, and other instruments, it does fine there. It's not ideal for stuff like E40, Easy E, though it does that. E40 probably more not ideal. Fleetwood Mac Rumors vocals, 2 male, 2 female, that really jumped out at me. I was really impressed with that, and then I busted out the other Unique Melodies because I was thinking this is a really different take on the ear gain from what other UMs I've got. And listening to them all, I would take this set. Knowing that the bass isn't slamming quite as hard as a couple other versions, I prefer the way that this plays back. The second, third, fourth, and beyond harmonics of vocals, cymbal strikes sound better. They're not quite as spicy as they are on the Mess Original and the Mark II, which is fine. I like that set. I rank it highly. I can listen for long sessions, but it is a very subtly intense set. I think the people that let go of it, that might be the point that they let, and the reason that they do. I don't think it's fit so much. I prefer this over those sets because it does it in a way that I'm more comfortable with, and it plays back my library in a more natural way. I would say that the bass is a 6 out of 10, and it wouldn't be as good as the Storm or the Grand Maestro, particularly in the Grand Maestro has multi-configurations. When we get beyond that, these become much closer as far as their comparisons. I think mids are an 8 out of 10. I think they're comparable with the Storm, with the Grand Maestro in certain configurations. I think the treble is a 7 out of 10. Treble, you got to remember, in my opinion, there's only a few ways to do bass. And one of those ways isn't all the way to the ear gain, like that bloat that some sets have. And the Dunu Zen Pro, I think that was, and a lot of people like that, but it's a little too warm for me, actually. I consider that not an ideal type of bass we play. Do you want to tuck that bass 350 Hertz? Do you want to tighten it back more? Do you want to go all the way back to sub 200 and get what's called a bass tuck? Where you put that glide point where it corrects itself in the mids is very important because that's how it's going to play back your rhythm section. The bassist is literally going to sound like you probably would expect, or it's going to sound lighter and tighter. There's a reviewer named Hobby Talk that you can check out, and he's a bassist, and he did a demonstration. It's very simple. He just took an EQ and showed you what down EQing that part of a bass tuck, what that does to a bass guitarist. And that does the same thing to parts of the drum kit. It does the same thing to kick drums in particular. This is a somewhat subdued bass, but it's not a tuck type bass. It's just not emphasized like on some other sets. So I think the bass is 6 out of 10. The mids are an 8 out of 10. The treble is a 7 out of 10. It's a different type of flavor. I think the res is a 8. I think that this is the only thing that it doesn't quite hold up to is the Storm. That's like really on another level, and people who hear that, I'm not sure what you like or don't like. I think one of the things that pops out about it is just the sheer res on the set. This is not quite as good as that, but it is comparable. For people that think that the Storm is lacking in some sense or doesn't have quite the stage, and that's something that a few people put out, this might be something that you might want to consider. If you go to a Can Jam and you have access, because a $4,500 set is difficult to blind buy. If you go to a Can Jam or you know somebody who's going, ask them to try something that you're familiar with, or something, actually check that. Ask them to check with their own library, because music is an intimate type of thing and you're very familiar with it. Ask them, if you can't yourself, to have a listen to this set and to listen to their library and give you some feedback on it. To this reviewer, I think that it does vocals excellent. I think that it does the rhythm section excellent. I think that the only time that I feel like I'm wanting something is when I get to a Big Boy Kill Jill. 38 hertz, very specific. I can give you the exact second timestamp. It's a triple drop, it repeats itself. The lowest one is, it's not how I would like it to be ideally. So that's a very small part of my library, but it's a noticeable thing. It happens with a lot of over-ear headphones that are very highly ranked. Just this, like those, doesn't quite do that final hit quite the way that I would like it to be done. So looking at the bottom, I think it does great with Metallica. It does guitars or dual guitars with distortion pedals, high BPM with the kick drum. Just the beat of the replay overall, this just keeps up with high speed and very busy tracks. Michael Jackson, which has actually a lot of bass, it's a very good production. I think it does good as well. It's enough bass for something like the Thriller album. And when you get to stuff like E40 or Big Boy or certain 808s, traps, trip hop, stuff like that, that might be its weak point, because that's where it is to me. So it'll do that, but it's just okay with that. So I guess to summarize, I'm sorry. Let me go ahead and stop for just a second. This comes with a PWA or PW, I can't remember the name, PWA audio, PW audio, I think is what it's called, cable, which is, it's nice, I guess. It's 4.4, it doesn't matter for me because I really run out of the ADI or the splitter, which is a Headamp 6 Pro, so I really didn't get a chance to use this. Also comes with all of the unique melodies come with these little booties, which I believe all sets really should come with, because these cost pennies for sellers. Pennies. And I don't want to get scratches on any of my set. $100 is a lot for people, and when they get scratches on them, they feel just as bad as somebody that spent $1,500. Doesn't really matter. $100 to somebody is $1,000 to somebody else. These are pennies. Everybody should really be using these. It comes with very nice presentation. Unique Melodies, always really good with that. It's got a larger case than some of the older Unique Melodies right there. Your IEMs are kept separate inside as well as inside the booty, so if you don't put it in those little socks, they'll still stay separate from bumping into each other and causing any scratches, so you're covered right there. The box is typical. I think it's a little larger than some of the other UMs, but it's the same type of double fold over with the magnet that holds it. And then on the bottom you've got a drawer which contains Sedna tips, the Unique Melody ones, replacement filters right here. This is an interesting concept because you could actually put dampening in here if you wanted to. I don't know why you would, because I think the tuning's fine, but you can remove these if you want, which is actually really, really cool. Metal filter, easy to change. Yeah, and it's the perfect size to throw on a 200 or a 250 if you wanted to have an even smoother replay. I wouldn't do that personally, but you could very easily, because you just put it on the inside of that and then screw it on. So that's a nice one. Plus you've got your owner's card and stuff that you need if you ever had a problem. Unique Melody's top notch when it comes to stuff like that. Andrew at Music Tech is also top notch in the hobby when it comes to stuff like that. You have any kind of an issue, you talk to him. the guy will take care of it. That's the review. Again, the chance that somebody might actually get this is far greater than the storm, and this would be the video that you would comment under. So to summarize, this does my library excellent. I think that this is the best unique melody, not because it's the newest and it's because of what I've got, because if you watch my channel carefully, you know that there's some pricey ones that have come around and I've had them, but I didn't really do a video for them because it simply wasn't my thing. This set is great. This set has a ear gain that is more familiar. It's more like something like the Storm. It's more like something like the Grand Maestro. It treats vocals in a way that, in the end, when I compare it with the Indigo and other UMs, I actually prefer the Multiverse more. Is it worth the money? Every time I say that question out loud, it's like, I don't know. Are you a dentist with 3 offices in 2 different states? Are you struggling to make ends meet? That's relative. If you've got the spendable money and you play in the realm of Storm and Grand Maestro, this is certainly an option. It's a stunningly beautiful set. I had to look really close and look at a photograph that I took in Zoom to even see the back of that BC driver inside. It's absolutely stunning. I saw the original first gen of this where it had the kind of orange. I wasn't a fan of that, actually, to be straight up, but this is gorgeous in the hand. This is really, really nice. It's very expensive. It's tuned brilliantly. It's a great set, and it comes with great service when you join the Unique Melody family. That's it. I forgot to do a spider graph, so I might do that later and post it, and pin it here and put it on some image hosting site, or I might just update another video in the future with a bunch of expensive top of the line stuff, rank them relative to each other, and then I'll throw them up on the spider graph. So that's it. Very nice set, and I'm out.